The environment, as processor of information, is propaganda. Propaganda ends where dialogue begins. You must talk to the media, not to the programmer. To talk to the programmer is like complaining to a hot dog vendor at a ballpark about how badly your favorite team is playing. It's also an illustration. It says, see Dick. See Dick protest. Protest, Dick. Protest. Oh, hello. I didn't see you guys come in. I was just reading a little bit more of The Medium is the Massage, the book that was written in the 1970s, but it might as well have been published yesterday. And that's not to say it doesn't look great with its new Shepard Fairey cover. Creator of the Andre the Giant has a posse memes and the Obama portrait from the big hope portrait with the colors. But this is Bitcoin Talk Show. Let's just get right into it. Let's see what's going on with Bitcoin today. Today is Monday, June 25th, 2018. My name is Thomas Hunt, and this is Bitcoin Talk Show. The price of Bitcoin is up 2.37% in the last 24 hours, with a last of 6,295, a high of 6,313, and a low of 6,086. That's $1 for 15,884 Satoshis. It doesn't look like we're going to stay on the 15,000 side of the barrier for very long. Of course, no one knows. Got a new feature today. I found this fun website the other day. I think we should focus on it more. Dead Coins from deadcoins.com. Did you know about Colbert Coin? That's right, Colbert Coin. The Colbert Report is a hilarious spoof of right-wing American politics. Observed trading with a market cap of $3,026 on June the 2nd, 2014. This coin is a parody. This coin is dead. More dead coins. Electra Coin, promoted by YouTubers, creator doxed by legendary Bitcoin Talk forum member, and exit scammed. Electra Coin was an exit scam. And finally, OneCoin. Ruya Ignatova created it. Multi-billion-dollar Ponzi scam, according to this website. Pretended to have a blockchain and cryptocurrency called OneCoin, which was all lies. No existing blockchain and no genuine cryptocurrency, not on an exchange. Created as a Ponzi scheme from the very beginning of 2014 and sold packages worth thousands of dollars. There is no value, only fake cryptocurrency that is seen as a worthless token. Billions of investor dollars have been lost, and Ruya Ignatova has disappeared. Ooh, dead coins. I'd just like to thank everyone for donating. Usually we do this at the end of the show, but I say, why not do it at the top of the show? Then people will really know about it. We'd like to thank donor 0.00399992 and 0.01, 0.00148775. And congratulations, we have broken the 1 Bitcoin amount for this account. Probably took a year, took a while. But yeah, I'll probably try to get a new address. Not that it matters that much. I do reuse addresses for donations. If you're just a normal person, you shouldn't reuse your address. If you're trying to get donations or have a public address, it is easier to reuse it, but it can lead to lots of mistakes. You can link your account to this. You can show how many Bitcoin you can have. You can link all your other accounts together. It can be a whole mess. So it's much better to use a new address every time. The other problem that I have, if I reuse these addresses too long, it looks like I got tons and tons of donations, when really I got a reasonable amount of donations over time. And yeah, if you've been collecting Bitcoin for 5 years and you have to sell every once in a while to live, yeah, your donation addresses can get embarrassing. The other one looks like I have $60,000 or that I had, but believe me, it was worth far less at the time that I had it. So, but just FYI, we've got a big news from the World Crypto Network Patreon account. We're up to 26 patrons, but it looks like we've moved up a whole $100. So thanks so much to our excuse me, Thanks so much to our $100 patron. Remember, you don't have to keep this up forever, and don't go into debt to give us donations. Don't endanger your rent, anything like that. Donating here is an option. I appreciate when you donate, but I don't want anyone to over donate. So if you're in a good position and $100 a month isn't too much for you, thank you so much for your support. But don't over donate. So also a shout out to the Mad Bitcoins Patreon account. Looks like we went up about $20 over there. We're still very close to 100 patrons. In general, I would say if you added these two numbers together, we would have 100 patrons. So very cool. Thanks so much to our 100 patrons for our Patreon accounts. We're keeping an eye on the price of Bitcoin. It's got some nice looking upward movement. Looks like it bottomed out around 5,780. Right now, it's topping out around 6,360 with a current price of around 6,300. Will it go up? Will we go down? No one knows. So we're keeping an eye on this. A lot of people want this to be the bottom. A lot of people believe that it's not the bottom. Shout out to IBLB, who's watching the old Bitcoin group shows. He checked out number 1 with Andreas Antonopoulos, Mad Bitcoins, and two other dudes. Two other dudes are Davi Barker and Derek J. Freeman. So very cool. We might play a little clip of Bitcoin Group later. I'm going to try it out on my other screen. Bitcoin funded Silk Road performance earns a residency at Trafalgar Studios. Pretty interesting story. This guy crowdfunded on the internet to raise money in Bitcoin, likely, and other cryptocurrencies to make a play called Silk Road: How to Buy Drugs Online. And it pretty much sounds like he's a playwright, he's a creator, and that he's taken the Ross Ulbricht story, but that he's acting it out as though he was Ross Ulbricht. So he says all these quotes here on the poster about the Dread Pirate Roberts and my man makes great tea cozies. Pirates aren't what they used to be. I don't know. It sounds really cool. If I was in the, I don't know, England area, wherever it is, United Kingdom, I guess it's in London, I would definitely check this out. As you can see, it's probably just him talking in front of a stage, but I'll bet it's really cool. It sounds great. And again, it's cool. He got funded by Bitcoin to do this. So but again, good idea, good execution, writes a play, goes out there and does it. Congratulations. Keep up the effort. Brad Mills writes in, he says, wow, the crypto markets are so bad that CoinMarketCap decided to stop showing ads for ICO and instead of showing coupons for cheese slices at Walmart. Things are bad. Next, it's going to be government cheese. We've got an update from Gary at the distributed dance party. He's up at DogeCon in Canada. Shout out to DogeCon. Hope it went really well. He says the Jazz Fest has overtaken their art gallery distributed dance party start location. Please proceed to the west side and look for the giant moon on wheels. The State of the Decentralized Union address is running late, but the rest of us will be there soon. Please help us spread the word. And shout out to Gary, looking good there in front of the giant moon on wheels. Sounds like DogeCon was a really good time. Look, they had he's saluting with his power glove. Gary's just got it going on. It's unfortunate I was unable to make DogeCon this year. I was invited. Looks like a really great event, and I hope everyone had a good time at DogeCon up in Canada. I love this story. They talked about it. Jadev Paying, sorry, I can't say your name right, began planting a tree every day for 37 years. And it was once a desert in India. Before that, it was an oasis, but they cut down the trees. Got some sound. And here it is. The result is incredible. His new forest is twice the size of Central Park. He planted a tree every day for 37 years of his life. He made this entire oasis. So it's pretty cool, the power of singular action over time. Thanks to him, 1,359 acres of sandbar are now a forest. It's a tropical paradise. The animals have come back. Look at that. All of those trees were planted by him. Pretty amazing story. Want to feel old? Quake was released 21 years ago, a few days ago. Quake, 21 years old. Quake can drive. Quake can vote. Quake can drink alcohol. I thought this is a great graphic from a few days ago. I think I showed it before. If the Bitcoin price goes to 5K or lower, they're going to start putting these beams up to try to support the building. The 6,600 support level, the 6,420 support level, the 6,000 support level, and then there's me. There's the person in the car. Pretty cool meme. Good stuff from Bitcoin EDU. He just rememes things. 1 million Bitcoins in Mt. Gox hack to be returned to victims. This is fantastic news. This means that the Mt. Gox trustee has stopped selling his Bitcoin as they've moved out of bankruptcy and more into, I don't know, some kind of rehabilitation. I forget the right word. Here it is, civil rehabilitation. Ding, ding. This is a victory for the creditors. The Mt. Gox coins are going to be returned. It sounds like originally they were going to get a USD dollar amount to their amount of coins, but now it's seeming like they might actually get Bitcoin back. They might actually get some value back. Remember that that Mark Karpelès had originally was going to hold all of these coins, and that Mark Karpelès was going to become a billionaire. But now it seems possible that he might be giving the coins back to the people. Just in general, this has changed from a bankruptcy court to a civil rehabilitation. So it's a big victory for the creditors. Excellent. If you have money in Mt. Gox, you've got a better chance of getting more of it back. We'll have to see how it actually goes, but keeping going. A little later, we'll be having a quick reading of my new novel, To Satoshi with Love. It's been going along pretty good. We've got Satoshi, might be a pink space alien. That's pretty fun. Donald Trump's involved. He's trying to crack down on Bitcoin. And of course, he's running for president because I wrote it during November of 2016. And it's fun. We'll do a little reading of that later. And now some more news. Leading Chinese Bitcoin miner manufacturer files for IPO in Hong Kong. And no, it's not Bitmain like you would think when they say leading manufacturer. It's something called eBang Communication. And eBang Communication has filed for an IPO seeking to raise a staggering $1 billion to fund growth. So I do agree with people who are analyzing the hash rate, taking a look at Bitcoin and saying, these miners know something that we don't. These miners are playing a special kind of Bitcoin long game. Seems pretty smart. And this is even more sign of it. There's $1 billion being raised for this miner. Bitmain has $4 billion in profit. These miners are huge, and they make their own decisions. They decide how things go. Bitcoin's defense of 6K raises odds of relief rally. More Bitcoin analysis from Coinbase. CoinDesk. Bitcoin is again trading above $6,000 and looking up, but today's closing price will likely set the tone for the rest of the week. Ah, jokes. Oh, no, he doesn't do jokes. I do jokes. The leading cryptocurrency fell to $5,755 on Sunday, the lowest level since November 12th, only to make a quick recovery back above 6,000 an hour later, according to Bitfinex. The failure to capitalize on the drop, despite the long-run bearish technical setup, suggests that the bears are feeling exhausted, having pushed Bitcoin lower by more than 40%, 9,990 to 6,000 in the last 7 weeks. So a relief rally may be in the offering. Let's go straight to the view. A close today above 6,250 will allow Bitcoin to trade on a positive note for the rest of the week. In this case, the falling channel resistance currently located at 6,800 and sloping downward to 6,600 by Friday could be put to a test. The high volume falling channel breakout would open the doors to 7,700. A bearish scenario, an unexpected close below $6,000 would open up the downside towards 5,090, the rising wedge breakdown target. So we might be out of the woods, but we're not out of the woods yet. Bitcoin just hit a new low for 2018. Here's how much you would have lost if you bought at the peak, from CNN Money. And I kind of like this article because they do the same article when Bitcoin's up, right? They're like, Bitcoin went up to this. If you had bought 6 months ago, think about how much money you would have made. And again, that article is designed to make you feel bad. This article, it's the same thing, but in reverse. Bitcoin just hit a new low. Think about how much money you would have lost. So they're selling both sides of this. When the price goes up, they sell that it's gone up and you should have bought. When the price goes down, they sell that you should have sold. How are you supposed to know what to do, media? I do think it's funny. They're just covering both sides of this. And again, the media is only interested in the price. It doesn't say anything here about the scaling support or the articles or any of that stuff. I mean, it's just total nonsense. But it's the price, and it's fun to cover the price. It's like a horse race. You just cover who wins. It doesn't matter about the horses. Bitcoin's next support level as low as $5,100. There's some bearish news for you from Forbes. He says it may go as low as $5,100. Keep an eye on that. Forbes crypto. Bitcoin is struggling because Bitcoin has lost its way. This is that guy. They know everything about Bitcoin at this magazine. They're like, Bitcoin's amazing. Bitcoin's terrible. Bitcoin's struggling. They know everything. Apparently, according to the chat, we have 155 watching now. Be sure to give us a thumbs up and a share. I know no one likes to just click on things like stars and thumbs and ratings and whatever, but the way YouTube's works is the more thumbs up you give us, the more YouTube says, hey, people say that's a good show. And then YouTube will promote it to other people. And when we're talking about Bitcoin, what we're really saying is people that aren't into Bitcoin. And I know you guys are hard into Bitcoin and you've been watching the price all week and you watch dozens of shows about this. But there's a lot of new people out there that don't know about Bitcoin. And I don't know if this is the best time to tell them about it. But anything we can do to get it in their head, to plant those seeds, get those ideas going. So give us a like. It doesn't cost anything. Like all the YouTube videos that you watch. If you see any YouTube video that's good, especially it's made by an independent creator, not MSNBC, not some kind of fancy channel or something, give it a thumbs up. Research. ETFs could lead Bitcoin price to $35,000 a coin, and it isn't far away. So we were talking yesterday about the possible good news events for Bitcoin. We said Amazon or eBay, a major retailer taking Bitcoin, or the Lightning Network would be a major good news, and the ETFs would be a major good news. Excuse me. Just to recap for everyone why the ETFs are such a good idea. Basically, an ETF, an exchange traded fund, they created them for gold and for other precious metals. So you could hold gold. I don't talk very much this early, but you could hold gold in your stock market account thanks to an ETF. So you buy the ETF buys the gold, they hold it for you. And that's it. The price of gold is then linked to the price of the ETF. The same idea with a Bitcoin ETF, although unfortunately, the Bitcoin ETFs have only been proposed generally by the Winklevi. And the Winklevi, for all of their business knowledge and Facebook knowledge, ended up proposing an ETF that made no sense. Under the Winklevi ETF, they were responsible for giving you the price of Bitcoin. They were responsible for holding the Bitcoin, and they were responsible for managing the ETF. There's just too much responsibility on the Winklevi shoulders there. I'm not so sure that they said no to the ETF because of Bitcoin. I think they said no to the ETF because of the structure of the Winklevi ETF. It was just entirely too many eggs in one basket. However, there are multiple other ETFs requesting permission from the government to start. And if they did start, this would be one of those black swan events that would drive the Bitcoin price up, get rid of this bear market, and turn us all back into bulls. So we don't know when this event is going to happen. Sure, News BTC says it isn't far away, but that's just headline talk. So Bitcoin ETFs, mass Bitcoin adoption, Bitcoin purchasing by a bank or another large institution, such as a country or a central bank. These are the big events that we're looking to turn Bitcoin around. We need a big event. We are still just watching the price, but let's see. They say there's a bull run. We're still at 62.94, not seeing major action in the prices, but we are keeping an eye on that. They're saying in the chat that the volume drying up may indicate that the sellers are running out of ammo. I don't know. I just know that low volume is not good. We need more volume. So Later on, we're going to check out some of that Bitcoin group number 1 and maybe even a old video where Mad Bitcoins goes to get Indian food. But for now, let's check in with the chat, see what you guys are talking about. Give us a question in the chat, and we're going to go ahead and open up the phone lines. Yesterday, I talked so much, I didn't even get the phone lines open. So I want to not make that mistake today, get those phone lines back open. So you can call us right now on Skype at World Crypto Network, all one word. Skype is a free program. You can install it for free. You just have to create a username and an account. Maybe you can just use your email, do it that way, and give us a call on Skype. If you don't, I'm going to talk about other random things for a little bit. Talking about some altcoin in the chat. Good luck with that. It's so sad. All the ads or all the comments that we get on YouTube are all about this this one cryptocurrency, not a popular one. I've never heard of it before, but it starts with a Z. I don't want to say their name, and it's not Zcash or Zcoin or Zen or any of those real ones, relatively real. But yeah, this Z cryptocurrency just spams us all day in the chat. So we'll get about 5 to 10 Z cryptocurrency spams in the chat. The other big spam this day is the Telegram ICO spam. Telegram, of course, the famous instant messenger type program, launched an ICO, but then they did this brilliant move where they didn't let any normal people buy their ICO. So all the normal people are waiting out here with their open bags saying, I want to get a bag full of Telegram, and they can't. So what did these scammers do? They started their own Telegram ICO. I don't know the name of it, but they're advertising all over our comments. And yeah, it's the same thing. It's just nonsense. So don't buy any of this Zcoin cryptocurrency from our chat below or the comments, and don't buy any of this fake Telegram coin or whatever's going on. So Harmony asks, the Bitcoin halving is coming soon in 2020. I love how 2020 is getting closer and closer. Still seems like 2 years to me. 2 years is a long time. But what impact do you think the halving will have on the price? Well, of course, we all know that the halving means that the amount of Bitcoin being produced will cut in half. So right now it's like 12 and a half Bitcoins every 10 minutes. It'll be 6.25, right? So basically we know that for the miners to keep mining, the price of Bitcoin basically needs to double. And this happened last time. It happened about 6 months before the halving. Because remember, the other traders are out there and they're saying, well, I better get my positions ready. And I want to get my positions ready before everyone else gets their positions ready. And if you do that, then you're set, right? But if you wait till the last minute, then you're toast. So, yeah, I think the halving in Classic, it's always doubled the price in the past. And it usually goes up a little bit more because people get excited when they double the price. So I'd definitely say the halving is another event. I'd put it in the ETF, in the massive adoption, in the banks or companies or countries buying it. I'd say all of those are good events that could happen in the future for Bitcoin. Also, we have the potential of China unbanning Bitcoin, China adopting Bitcoin, adopting ICOs, China launching their own coin, all that kinds of stuff. So we have to think, what are the possible good news events out there? What are the possible bad news events? I used to think back in the day that we knew the Silk Road would close. We knew that Mt. Gox would go down. We knew that BTC-E would go down. We had bad feelings about Cryptsy, and all of those things are gone now. So we have to find new good events and new bad events, and you just have to think out there to the future and think which one's going to happen first, when it's going to happen, what's the most important. So, and you have to hold and plan your positions accordingly. So let's see, a little background today while we wait for a call or a question. I went to a Vegas show yesterday. It was pretty fun. I went down to the Paris Hotel and Casino, and I saw a show called Inferno. Um, I'm not going to be too critical of it, but it was a lot of magic and a lot of fire dancers. And the magic, he's an excellent magician, but the tricks he was doing weren't very good. I don't know how to say that. I don't want to be mean to the guy, but he did that trick where he ties the rope together, and it's the rope trick. And he did a lot of the other classic tricks like cutting a woman in half and so forth and so forth. But he was interesting and he was fun, and I like the fire. The fire girls were good. One of them hung by her neck from the ceiling. That was pretty impressive. spinning around on rings and that kind of things and dancing with fire. It was pretty cool. So, Vegas, good show. Also, yesterday we had a homework assignment for everyone in the chat. Did anyone go out and watch Network, the 1976 film about television and about the news media and how news used to be a serious thing and now news has become entertainment? Great movie, Network. Let me know in the chat if you watch Network. Also, the other homework assignment was Idiocracy. Idiocracy is a great movie. It's a documentary about our times. What if all the stupid people were breeding, and what if all the smart people weren't? What would our world look like in 100 years? Look on it with horror. Idiocracy. It's also a comedy by Mike Judge, creator of Beavis and Butthead, Silicon Valley, Office Space. Great movie. So check out Idiocracy. Check out Network. Idiocracy is a comedy. Network has some funny parts, but is definitely more of a drama. So if you're going to watch them together, it's a bit of a shift in tone. But we're doing the Bitcoin talk show today. We are just opening it up for your calls on Skype at World Crypto Network, all one word. It's pretty early out here on the West Coast. It's around 8:50 a.m. Pretty tired, but hanging out. They say, Idiocracy hit way too close to home. That's why they went straight to the small screen. And that's right. They played it in just the minimum amount of theaters. They didn't make a movie poster for it. They don't want you to see this. Fox does not want you to see this movie. They have some sponsorships with Carl's Jr., and I don't think Carl's Jr. wants you to see the movie either. The sponsorships are incredibly rude. The world of the future where the stupid people rule is a disgusting and horrible world. They speak with a combination of Valley Girl and slang or something like that. It was just really terrible. So Idiocracy. They're all talking about it in the chat. Write it down. Go rent it. Go check it out. People are gonna torrent it or something. Use a VPN. Protect yourself. But definitely check out Idiocracy and Network. It's very good stuff. We've also got some people in the chat. They say we should talk about music. All right, well, I'll talk about music. Yeah, I think Idiocracy is probably from 2006. That sounds about right. Yeah, Mike Judge, Owen Wilson's brother, Luke Wilson. Good stuff. Good stuff. But is it better than Pretty Woman? Yeah, I think it's better than Pretty Woman. Valley Girl. Yeah, Valley Girl is a good movie. Nick Cage. He's cool. She's hot. She's from the Valley. He's not. It's an 80s movie with Nick Cage. He's kind of a fish out of water. He's a punk rocker. She's kind of a Valley girl, Silent Lamb says, Mad Bitcoins is his older brother from another mother. God knows I've spent more time with him than his biological family. Lol. Uh-oh. Well, I'll just have to focus more on positive messages like Mr. Rogers and try to make sure that you're learning yourself up there, that you're improving. So that's what's important. But yeah, I was going to talk about music because yesterday I did a random show and it was there. There we go. Somebody saw a Network. Rico says he saw a Network, I think. Give us a call on World Crypto Network Skype. Tell us that you saw a Network and what you thought of it. We'll try to dance around the spoilers because most people haven't seen films from the 70s. I kind of understand that, but then I kind of don't because the 70s were an incredible time for movies. I've read some books about it and so forth, but just something was going on and they started working on writer directors and they had this idea of the auteur like Scorsese or Coppola or somebody like that. And they just made these incredible personal movies. Even something like Star Wars, the very first one, was personal to George Lucas. That was his vision. And this freedom of the artist's visions led to really good movies. Unfortunately, it rolled back in the 80s. We went into kind of crappy comedies, and then we went big after Star Wars, after E.T., into blockbuster movies. And the blockbuster overtook the auteur, and that's how things changed. So Network, the movie, doesn't have, it has something to do with Bitcoin like everything does. I mean, it'll make you smarter. What's the good of knowledge? What's the point of learning? Well, for me, when I learn something, I'm able to kind of put it in a grid with all the other things that I know. And that sometimes these things in the grid link together. So the movie network about television. Hello, caller. You're live on the World Crypto Network. How's it going?
Bonsoir, Thomas. C'est Ricardo. It's Ricardo.
Hey, how's it going? So did you watch Network? Question of the
Yeah,
day.
I watched it last night. It's definitely a movie you need to sit down and be ready for. It's pretty dramatic. If you were alive in the 70s, you'd be alive in a revelation of what we're living in right now. There's so much to be talked about right now with what's going on. I mean, you could say that we're at the tip of like 1989, but I think we're in the center of the eye, like right before the actual control, because we think we're being controlled now and that they know everything about us, but you have no clue what they could actually do, especially if you research like military uh, operations going on in America and stuff, because I used to do that a lot, but not the operations, but just researching. But anyways, long story short, the network was crazy. Within like the first 10 minutes, I hope I don't spoil it, but it's an old movie, so it's not like it's new. But the like the Walter Cronkite of the movie, he announces he's going to commit suicide, and this is before like this is like live TV, you know.
Yeah. He says, I'm going to commit suicide on the air. That ought to get a hell of a rating.
Live.
I mean, oh, so good.
And no one's really noticing it because they're all kind of like, oh, the same day, black and white. And the two main editors that are supposed to be listening are having a conversation, and they don't even realize he said it. And like everybody's just freaking out, and they're like trying to get him off the camera when they come back from commercial. And it's just mental. Like the whole movie is freaking. It's a trip. It's a trip. You should definitely watch it.
Oh, it's so good. What's her name? Faye Dunaway. Her character, there's so much you could write about her character. She just kind of represents so much. She's a woman, and she's a beautiful woman, but at the same time, in a lot of ways, she acts like a man. She's a big power player in this business.
Yeah.
She makes big moves. She has her own vision. She doesn't give a crap if you don't care about her vision. She's going to do it. In a lot of ways, she's a powerful woman, but she's also a powerful woman that's in a man's world, and she's breaking through a man. She's breaking through. So
she's learned. Yeah, she definitely sets the tone for women. But at the same time, it goes to show what you can become if you like grow up in that kind of world of corporate, or politics, well, corporate politics in the same sense. And it kind of plays into a lot of other things that are going on that I think it kind of alludes to things, because there's a thing about Saudi Arabia, this company that like uses him, get him to do this crazy rant again on TV. And he becomes this massive star because he's just going crazy, but he actually is going crazy, and he's a total alcoholic. And he has like a friend that's also an anchor for another channel. And the whole thing is just, it's like Lawyers Devil's Advocate, but like of TV media that was in the 70s. It's insane.
It's a really good movie. It's really worth watching. There's, like you're saying, there's the multiple levels. There's all the business levels and the global levels with the Saudi Arabia and all that. But then there's also this emotional, personal level where, and we're going to go big into spoilers here. You guys have got to see this movie, but
yeah,
I'm going to try to dance around the spoilers so we can.
Got a bit of romance, and like it's got so many levels on it that I mean, obviously movies aren't the same what they used to be, but in this day and age, but this movie is insane. You should definitely check it out.
Definitely check out Network. Well, cool. Thanks so much, Ricardo. I'm glad you checked it out.
But I mean, you were going on your Sunday rants. I just kind of stuck around as long as I could. But today I was having this weekend for me was like a field day. It was like going to the store and seeing everything 90% off. And since I've been in since November, you don't see prices this low. So I was pretty stoked. And I have to say, I'm pretty happy with everything that's going on. But everybody has their own position. So, yeah.
Definitely. And a lot of people are keeping an eye on the Bitcoin market and the altcoin market, looking for a low. They're looking for a re-entry point. We don't know where it's going to be, but you're probably going to get more Bitcoin. You're probably going to get more altcoins. You might have to hold longer, but a chance to get more. So,
well, I highly stress. Sorry, there's a sorry. It's 6 o'clock here, but I highly stress to people to focus on Bitcoin and the big movers in the last move, in the last push, because as soon as I call it the consolidation, the bear market starts to switch over to the bulls, you're going to see what sticks and what doesn't. Like if you notice, a lot of things have dropped out of the top 10 that used to be there. So definitely, if you are into altcoins, look at what has really done well over this bear market. And I'm not going to say anything because I like the fact that you did say when you say something, it really makes it real. What your words make things real in other people's minds, and it creates, something that ticks into your brain that changes the future and the now. So I'm not going to say the coins, but I do think people should get ready for the position. If you don't know anything about something you've been dying to look into, whether it's charting, whether it's a certain coin, make a decision. And when that decision comes to be made, at least you have it already made. So that way you just have to be like, okay, now I'm buying, or now I'm selling, or whatever it might be.
That's true. You just got to make your decision and wait a little bit and see how it goes.
Yeah, man, I'm stoked. So.
All right, very good. Well, thanks so much for the call, Ricardo. Give us a call anytime, and I'm glad you enjoyed Network. I think it's a great movie. More people should check it out.
Yeah, guys. Peace. Cheers.
All right. And they're talking in the chat. Somebody says that I hold Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. I'm not sure where they got that idea. I said a long time ago, I said one of the options was to hold both. And if you hold both, you're fine either way, right? You got the Bitcoin Cash for free. You got your Bitcoin. If one of them goes up, you're good, right? A lot of people disagree, though, because we don't like Bitcoin Cash. Because Bitcoin Cash is trying to steal the name of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin Cash is trying to create confusion, calling themselves the real Bitcoin, saying that they're Satoshi's true vision, and the rest of this nonsense, that holding Bitcoin Cash, as much as it might go up in value and Ethereum might go up and all these other things might go up in value, uh, emotionally, politically, personally, I don't like to hold Bitcoin Cash. I don't want to hold some kind of a project that's trying to copy the name of Bitcoin. That disgusts me, right? So no, I sold my Bitcoin Cash. I sold it in tranches, like I try to tell everybody now, doing percentages. So I sold 30% early, I sold 30% in the middle, and I sold 30% late. In hindsight, where we all have the vision of hindsight, I could say I should have sold them all later. That thing kept going up. So, but now it's topped over $1,000. It seems like it's drifting down to 800. It might be over, but once again, they might bump it up again. Remember, these guys have lots and lots of money. They've invested a lot of it into the Bitcoin Cash project, and they're probably going to continue seeking that money and seeking that profit. We did talk about it a little bit yesterday during part of the epic rant and so forth, where I said that, hats off to Roger Ver. He puts his money where his mouth is. When you say, what is Roger Ver doing for Bitcoin Cash? You say, my goodness, he started a magazine at bitcoin.com. He's got all these bloggers. He's going around doing speeches. Roger Ver is working very hard to promote that Bitcoin Cash. So hats off to him on that. I wish we had the same kind of fortitude from the Bitcoin 100 millionaires and Bitcoin billionaires on our side. Sadly, they mainly just seem to hide. They mainly just seem to do nothing, or they invest in things to make them more money. Because if you had $100 million, you'd be thinking about how to make more money. If I had $100 million, I'd be thinking about how to make the world a better place. I'd be thinking about not just myself, not just my family and my friends, but the people of the world. And I would think, what can I do with this money? And of course, I'm into Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's the best way to make the world a better place. So anything I could do to help Bitcoin, that's what I would do with my $100 million. I'm not sure why no one is doing this. I'm not sure why we're only putting our $100 million into more companies and more ICOs and more money, 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 money. And again, look at Ver investing his money in Bitcoin Cash. Maybe it's a scam. Maybe it's a scheme. Maybe he's trying to cash out and make a ton of money off it or something. But still, he is pumping it hard. He is working on it hard. And on the Bitcoin side, where we have lots of wealthy Bitcoiners and lots of wealthy altcoiners and lots of other people, don't seem to be doing anything. Nobody's raising a finger. Bitcoin Foundation went sent straight down the drain, burned all that money. Hasn't been an attempt to make a new one. There's various other Bitcoin media groups that are all purchased and owned by one company, all starting to be united under the same banner. So I suppose they must have a little money. But then again, they don't have any feelings about this. They don't have any loyalties. They're willing to advertise and to do and to say anything. They're willing to own Bitcoin Magazine. On the other side, to own the Decentralized Magazine. The other side, maybe start an ICO magazine. Wherever the money is, that's the advertising that they'll take. That's what they're willing to do. Will we have another Bitcoin Foundation? Will we have a way to help Bitcoin, to promote it, to talk about it every day, to pay people that talk about it every day? I don't know. I think we should. I think there's lots of money out there. Guys going on and on about MaxCoin in the chat. He obviously doesn't remember a few years ago when MaxCoin died. I like Max a lot, but I don't know that he should have his own coin, and I don't know that it improves the quality of Max at all. So there's another thing where Max was talking about his coin and all this stuff, and should he have a coin? I don't know. I partially I think that they created that project on their own. They kind of linked it to Max. I don't think he was involved in the beginning. So I don't know if he got the pre-mine or if he early mined it or if he got a whole bunch of it. But then he started supporting it. Then it went away. Then it came back. And now it's got a #1 fan of Johnny in the chat. Johnny probably went out, bought a whole bag full of it. And now he's like, I'll just go to the chat, promote my new favorite bag. And of course, it's going to backfire because everyone's heard of your favorite bag. Like I was saying earlier with this dead coins thing, there are so many dead coins that you don't know about. And you're sitting here saying, everything's cool. All these coins are going to last forever. All my investments are good. No, many coins die. Your coin could be like Lisa. The coin on yobit.net says it guarantees 10% a day for 2 to 3 years, which may seem too good at first. However, this is not completely true because buyer beware, there is no telling when this coin will denominate. They did it twice within a month apart, making people lose all of their original investments and earning. That was called Lisa coin, Liza. I'm sure a lot of people were fans of Lisa coin, going into the chats, telling them how cool Lisa coin is, how there was no pre-mine. It's just a scam coin. Howie coin, a hoax from the SEC to educate people not to invest in potential scam ICOs. That's how bad it's gotten that the SEC has to create their own hoax coin to try to teach you up about not buying into random garbage coins. How about one more? Nautilus coin. There's no information about Nautilus coin here. This is so unfair and untrue. Nautilus coin was created by Brian Kelly from CNBC. He created it, then he pumped it, then he pumped it again. Then he said that it was going to merge with some other coin and become some kind of network. There's a whole thing going on here. And it's so funny that they don't have any information for Nautilus coin. Let's see what Google says. Brian Kelly on Twitter, Nautilus white paper, a 3-pronged approach to monetary policy. But you see, he's completely forgotten about Nautilus coin now because he's on CNBC. And so he doesn't talk about Nautilus coin anymore. Originally, it was kind of a joke, Nautilus coin. Like he was like, oh, I'm going to learn about Bitcoin, write a little article, and then I'll make Nautilus coin. But here it is, back in 24, Brian Kelly, Mr. BK, Mr. Ripple, Mr. on CNBC pumping those coins, pumped his own coin, Nautilus coin, made it right here, Nautilus coin. Then, oh, here it is. Nautilus coin is going to link with PAR. This is one of the big pumps they did on Nautilus coin. I don't know why this isn't in the Dead Coins website. It's very obvious. So yeah, they're going to link it to PAR. This is going to be the new big thing. Nautilus coin, oh my, that's me. And it was added to Poloniex. So that's great. Nautilus coin, get not. And this is the same guy that's on CNBC right now telling you all about the coins. So is Nautilus coin a scam? I'm guessing yes. But let's go through here. CNBC article from 2014. Kelly creates an altcoin, decided the best use of Nautilus coin was education. He must mean pumping and dumping. So there it is. He used coingen.io. Eventually, he changed it up. He tried to put Greece into the picture. Oh, okay. The tourism industry as the vector for promoting Nautilus coin. So once again, this guy works for CNBC, and 4 years ago, he promoted his own coin kind of as a joke. And 2 years later, they were merging his own coin with another coin to pump it up, kind of as a joke. But once again, like, how funny is this joke? People are losing money. People are making money. People are investing. Nautilus coin. But again, it's been completely forgotten. Ask anyone about Nautilus coin, they won't know anything about it. So we even have an AMA here from 2 years ago. But yeah, it started out as a test. It started out as education, became pump and dump. Now he's just on CNBC hitting it up. So shaky origins, Nautilus coin, just another scam. We don't know. Let's see. This is from cryptolife.net. According to them, allegedly, Nautilus coin is yet another slimy cryptocurrency that preys on the uninformed. Nonetheless, we can expect events like this to increase the price of the coin. At the time of writing, it's up over 80% in the last 24 hours on Cryptsy. However, the opportunity for non-holders to profit is long gone. You've already missed the train. By buying now, you'll be on the receiving end of the dump. Those who currently hold the coin should sell now before the initial hype dissipates. So Nautilus coin, and there's all kinds of coins like this out there. I'm not just picking on them. I just think you have to keep an eye on it, and you have to remember we've seen your altcoin before. We've seen your bag before. So they're saying in the chat, enough of Max and MaxCoin. We want Max to call in. So yeah, Max from Germany, give us a call, or anyone else, give us a call right now on Skype at World Crypto Network. We'll try to keep this going a little bit longer if we can get some calls. Otherwise, I might do some readings, might show you some of my mail. We've got it all going on here on the World Crypto Network Bitcoin Talk Show. And I can tell you guys must have been pushing that like button because we're well up. We used to be in the 150 viewers. Now we're up to 160 viewers. It's very cool. Max says he'll call in when the lines are open. I think they're open now. I mean, we could do that thing, Bitcoin Talk Show in Russia. In Russia, Bitcoin Talk Show calls you. That's an old joke. Yakov Smirnov. What do they want Max to talk about? I don't know. Everyone just talks about the price now because it's all about the price, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. Is there anything else other than the price? Everyone likes the technology, but the technology does nothing to move the price. Calling Max a failure doesn't help. Oh, Johnny's hurt by someone's opinion on the internet. That's rough, man. That's going to happen more. Hello, Max. You're live on the World Crypto Network. How's it going out there in Germany? Oh, no audio so far. Let's see what we can do. Turning those dials, spinning those knobs. Oh, well, it worked the other day. And it did work on the last call. So I think it's good on my end. Maybe try unplugging it and plugging it back in again, or turning it off and on again. So we'll see if we can get Max back on the air here. Yeah, for Jeremy says that'll be a first. An altcoiner willing to call in. So yeah, Johnny, go install Skype. See if Skype will take MaxCoin. Give us a call, and I mean, I'll give you the floor. I'll give you a couple minutes. You tell us everything good about MaxCoin. I will not interrupt. And then afterwards, if people agree and they're like, hey, MaxCoin's cool, I've been convinced, I'm not going to be mean to them. I'm going to accept that. If you've got the information, and yeah, it is on SHA-3. It's very cool. It's a newer algorithm than the algorithm that Bitcoin's on. So that's different. I'm not denying that. I just think mainly for me, Bitcoin is 99%. Altcoins are less than 1%. So yeah, it's a very nice less than 1%. But I don't see it challenging the 99% of my Bitcoin belief. So, and that's not to say that altcoins aren't cool or have cool technology or people don't make a lot of money on them or all those things. Just for me, I'm with Bitcoin and I see it as being really, really big. And I see everything else as being very, very small. So, but it's cool. I mean, I'll give you the floor and stuff. Not a rude person. I mean, maybe I'm rude in the chat, but that's chat. That's the internet. You have to have a thick skin. You have to like put that on. So cool. Johnny's going to download Skype and tell us about MaxCoin. I think it's super funny. We're trying to have Max from Germany call in the same time that we're talking about MaxCoin. Rico gets it in the chat. He says that the other altcoins are like penny stocks. And I don't want to be rude to them, but that is how I feel. I feel like Bitcoin's this amazing blue chip investment, not just an investment, but a thing that can change the world. It's this technology, right? It's very good technology. And these other coins, they're just penny stocks. They come and they go. So, and I've met a lot of people that are fans of them and they make lots of money, or they, you know, tell people about them, or they think they're cool, and then they move on. And then they come along with some other new penny stock that is the new one. So, but we're waiting for you guys to call in. I do have a plan to stall, but if I start my stalling plan, I'm going to want to just talk about music all day. So, everyone out there, you're all into music, right? You think music's the greatest thing. Tell me about music. Tell me how you got into music. You can tell me in the chat, or you can call in. But we're waiting for calls. There's someone named Get MaxCoin in the chat. How's it going, MaxCoin? Chatting us up. Yeah, one of your followers, one of your friends here, Johnny, was mentioning MaxCoin, and now he's going to call in, and we're going to give him a couple minutes to tell us all the good things about MaxCoin. And then I'm going to listen to the chat, and other people can call in. And if they disagree, that's cool. They'll disagree. If he's convincing, if he says, hey, you know, MaxCoin's got a better algorithm and got some good programmers and it's on its way up, then I'll be like, hey, maybe it's on its way up. So I don't know, but we'll give him a chance. It's a fair show. Not going to shout anybody down. But you know, at the same time, I you know, I don't want to say we're exhausted, but a lot of people who are bag holders of altcoins come into this chat and tell us how good their bag is. So I'm sure you have a very nice bag, but you can understand why we're, you know, not fans of bag holders. We're more just Bitcoiners. So, and that's not to say that we even have a bag of Bitcoin or anything, because we don't. We have a little bit like everybody else, and we just think it's fantastic. So. But I was going to talk about music. So, when I was a kid, I was big into classical music and jazz music and Weird Al music. Those are the three genres of music that I was into. And after that, around 1995 or so, I fell upon this album called Out of Time by REM. And you probably know it for the hits like let's see, Losing My Religion, Radio Song, stuff like that. But I became a big REM fan, and I think that REM is just the greatest band there is. And I'd like to do whole shows where I could just talk about REM and talk about REM albums, talk about the lyrics, talk about the way he develops the lyrics, all of that. Big REM fan. And you know, even though the price of Bitcoin's down and, you know, it's a little bummer, I have been going on eBay and getting me some new REM stuff. So, and of course, when your band stops playing 5-10 years ago, I don't know, you young people don't know about this, but when your band stops playing, you can't buy any more of their stuff, right? There are no new albums. Sometimes there are new bootlegs, and there's new videos, and there's other stuff like that from back in the day, or old concerts they've discovered. But it's very hard to get anything new. So that's why I've been buying this REM stuff on eBay, and just having a good time with it. Nothing I buy costs more than $10 or anything like that. I'm not buying signed guitars or anything, but I got this REM, the best of the IRS years. It's a DVD with a bunch of music videos, and it's very cool. So if you guys like REM, tell me about REM in the chat. If you don't like REM, probably better not to say anything. But I respect your opinion. You can do what you want. They're talking in the chat about when I'm coming back to Europe. I would like to come back to Europe. Of course, my original plan, which quickly got scuttled, was to try to go to Europe 3 months, go back to America for 3 months, go back to Europe for 3 months, go back to America, and to switch them off. And maybe I could spend 6 months over there and 6 months over here. That didn't happen. I didn't get back to that. So as it turned out, I ended up moving and all kinds of stuff. Caller. Hello, caller. You're live on the World Crypto Network. What's your name?
Hey, Thomas. It's Ricardo calling you back, mate.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. I was just looking at the REM classics, the top collection of like REM. It's actually a great band.
Yeah, man, isn't it? They play arpeggios, you know, repetitive guitar pieces, and then
Yeah.
The lead singer is really interesting, and he does a lot of you can't understand the lyrics a lot of time. You have to listen to it a lot to really get the lyrics. And even if you then that's just getting the words. That's not just understanding the lyrics. Some of them you can't even understand. It's just kind of random or it's just kind of picturesque. So,
Losing My Religion.
yep.
That's a great one. I was just listening to that. It
Yeah,
reminds me of crypto.
yeah, the best thing about that one is everyone thinks that it's about religion, and it doesn't hurt that the music video has a guy with an angel wings. You know, Michael Stipe's wearing angel wings. But what it's actually about is in the South,
Yeah.
it's an expression meaning that someone knows that you have a crush on them, that your religion
Oh,
is this kind of secret crush, and that if you're losing your religion, it's like the girl knows that you like her, and you lose all your position and you lose all your flirting and all your possibilities because she's just like, well, she likes you or she doesn't like you. You know, it's a decision's made. So it's actually a love song, but everyone reads it as a religious song. So.
ah, all right. That's funny. I yeah, actually haven't listened. I haven't really delved into it. You know, I've just I always listening to it. Like I used to work at Rock Bottom. They always play REM in the background. So you don't listen to the lyrics. You just are like listening to the same repetitive melody.
Oh yeah. Well, it's good. It's someone said yesterday when I mentioned REM, they said that's good background music. That's the background music of the 90s for me. So I'll take that too. I think it's nice. It's nice soft background music if you're just listening. So
I somebody said earlier in the chat, music is decentralized, and I thought about that. And if somewhere someone can make a cryptocurrency that you can buy music for literally nothing and have a collection like I don't know Spotify or something like that, like a Napster
mhm.
cryptocurrency, that would be legendary because people would use cryptocurrency to buy music. I think, especially if it's decentralized, you know.
I'd especially like to see things like subscription services. If you could subscribe to your favorite band and give them $10 a month, but to do it in Bitcoin or to do it in Lightning Network and to do it programmatically. A lot of the things that I have to do, I have to click on 100 things and I lose my damn mind. Like marking spam on YouTube, you have to click on the spam, click on report spam, and then you have to confirm that you're reporting scam. So that's 3 clicks for every spam. So if we're getting 5 spams an episode, which is pretty often, I'm clicking 15 times. So
It's,
that like paying people is the same way because we used to have all these tipping programs, and they were really happy about being tipping programs, and we were kind of mean and we were critical of them. And one of the things that we're critical of is that you don't want to just click on things to give people $1, right? It's too much work. I know no one's thinking that now, but every month, if you subscribe to 15 people and you had to click on all of them at least one time to give them $1, like you just wouldn't do it, right? If you're like, it's not worth my time to give out those $15. So automation, the ability to program these things is what I think is really exciting because I'm gonna for like the Patreon thing. You can subscribe up with like $2 a month, and yeah, $2 a month, no problem. You got it. I got it. It's not that much, but actually having to do that manually is not worth $2. But Patreon will do it as a subscription. It'll just charge your card, and you don't have to worry about the $2. That's when technology starts to work for us. That's when things get really good, I think.
There's funny you say that because definitely people have their services, and the one thing people don't like to do is change their service because it's always a pain in the ass for some reason to have to change your cell phone or your Wi-Fi or
Mhm.
whatever it might be. I've done that so many different times in so many different countries, and it's ridiculous. But yeah, people like automation, and they don't have to deal with the work. I'm gonna let you go because I'm gonna let Max call in. But I will talk to you probably tomorrow. Thank you so much, Thomas, for letting me call.
Cool. Thanks so much for the call, Ricardo. And glad to hear other people like REM out there too. We're getting some good positive comments in the chat. So,
I think everyone likes it. They just don't even realize it. It's just background music, for the '90s. I love '90s.
sure. Yeah, yeah. Well, and they had some interesting albums there towards the end. Maybe I'll talk about that some more. So
Au revoir, mate.
au revoir. I'll try to work on my French. I'll try to get better. But yeah, REM, man, check it out. They got cool with the well, it's kind of sad the drummer left towards the end and the band kind of changed, the sound changed. But there's a lot of good albums out there, and there's a lot of interesting REM albums that you might not have heard. They're also saying there's a lot of cool music videos. So if you'd like to give us a call now, let's see. So we have Max and Johnny, both on deck. Um, Okay, so probably. Okay, so he says he's going to call after Max. Johnny says so. Cool. So Max, go ahead and give us a call, and Johnny's going to wait. Hello, caller. You're live on the World Crypto Network. What's your name? It's Max. Let's see if Max's audio is working today. It was working before. They say in the chat that the band got tired of doing their own songs. I think that's a definite problem when you're a band. I know a lot of bands where they're like a one-hit wonder and they have to go out and play that song. And I don't know, if I'm on both sides of it, I'll go see them and I'll be like, I want them to play that song. But then I also understand as a musician that, they're bored and they've played that song 100 times and maybe they try to mix it up. But it looks like we're still having trouble getting through to Max, which is funny because his things worked really good before. So we weren't having these technical issues last time Max called. But Max, go ahead and maybe restart your computer or something. And then we're going to go to Johnny for right now. So Johnny, go ahead and give us a call. Oh, well, maybe it's Max or Johnny, don't know. Hello, caller. You're live on the World Crypto Network.
I hope that 3 times is the charm. This is
fantastic. Welcome aboard, Max. Sorry about the technical difficulties there.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. So number one, I have a shitty internet connection in my new apartment, which sucks. I just installed a Wi-Fi repeater, so it should be better. And then the second time I called, I realized that I have the Paranoid Light app on my phone. And with that app, you can software kill the microphone and the camera for security reasons on the phone, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But if you then call into such a great show as this one and you do not turn on the microphone again, then, well, they can't hear you.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, I've seen that with a lot of my privacy type features. They get in the way when you try to do things. Like I have a VPN and I put the VPN on my phone and I was trying to watch some show on Hulu and I was like, what the heck? It says I can't watch this show. And I found out later it was because I had the VPN on my phone. So yeah, you got to turn your VPN off. You got to connect to the fast Wi-Fi. We've got the 2 kinds of Wi-Fi here, the 2.4 and the 5 gigahertz. And the 5 gigahertz is faster, but it keeps connecting to the 2.4 for some reason. So.
Well, technology, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's such a beautiful thing, but always a pain in the ass.
Definitely. So what's on your mind about Bitcoin today, Max? What do you think of the price or the technology? Just whatever you got.
I mean, the price is boring. I think we all know that. So let's not talk about that. But rather, I've called in now a couple of times, and surprisingly, we have not talked about my area of expertise, which is actually economics, and specifically Austrian economics.
Excellent, Max. So you're an economist. So you're an Austrian economics. So are you horrified for the Keynesians? Because the Keynesians are looking at this Bitcoin and saying that we can't print money. And part of their whole game is if we have a disaster or a tragedy or the economy doesn't go well or anything like that, their plan is pretty simple: print money and solve the problem. But as you know, with Bitcoin, they can't print money. So how do you think this will change things, especially given that everyone should know right now, I know you're libertarians and stuff, but the Keynesians are pretty much running things, right? So this is the ruling class of economics, and they're coming up against a tough point here with Bitcoin.
Absolutely. You just hit it on the head right there. I started my career as an entrepreneur when I was really, really young, and I was always interested in economics. And well, I asked my teacher in like 9th or 10th, in like 7th grade or something, where I can learn more about economics. And he looked at me weird, and then he just said, well, read Keynes. Everyone is reading that. And so I picked up my first book by Keynes, which was the General Theory of shit, what was it called? Doesn't matter. It's a horrible book. And it's his most famous treatise. And I read it and was like, well, this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And it really didn't satiate my hunger for knowledge about economics and how the world actually works. And then, unfortunately, I kind of wasted the next 3 to 4 years going deep into Keynesian economics and studying that subject on my own, because I thought, well, if I just keep on studying it, maybe it will make more sense in the future. And that was my well, my economic knowledge for quite some time. And as you said, Keynesianism is the status quo right now. It is the court intellectuals are all Keynesians. And the main reason why they only teach you Keynesian economics in school and in university is because, well, the school is funded by the state, and Keynesian economics is hugely in favor of the state. Basically, what Keynesian economics say is that you as an individual, you always make bad choices, and you just don't know what's good for you. So please, would you be so kind to give this the central party, this government thing, complete control over the economy, because, well, you know, they're experts and they have really fancy mathematics and like really fancy looking formulas and stuff like that. And just trust us. We know what's right for the economy, and we can plan everything centrally.
That seems like a good idea. Why don't we just trust them?
Exactly, yes. And unfortunately, over the last 100 years, that's what we have done. We have trusted the court intellectuals, those Keynesian bastards, you might say, with our economy. And the economy is not just it's not just you know, finance. It's not just money. It's not just greed. No, economy is beautiful. Economy is trade. It's two individuals coming together voluntarily and changing the goods that they themselves have produced against each other. And this means that after this transaction, because it is voluntary and because they both want to do this, by definition, both parties are always better off after a voluntary trade than before that. So the economy at heart is all about love. It's all about sharing, and it's all about common prosperity and growth and the future.
That's interesting, Max. The way you describe the basics of trade, creating economics, reminds me of the basis of law, which is the contract, right? The contract between two people. And all of our law in America is based on the contract, and people entering into a contract for work and the good and the bad aspects and what comes out of that contract. So it's interesting to see on the other side that the basis of economics is trade, and that these really hard to understand things start at a really simple point. And once you know that simple point, you can always unravel things, and you can go back to that initial entry point of trade. So in like an economic standpoint, if the Keynesians wanted to print a bunch of money and do something, maybe it would increase trade, maybe it would decrease trade. In the same way, if the other side wanted to stop printing money, how would that affect trade? How would that affect economics? So I think it's really good to get back to the core of these ideas.
Yes, you're 100% right. And what we as humankind have figured out throughout several hundred thousands of years is that there are two basic economic functions, or well, actually, it is just one basic economic property or an economic attribute that is the basis of all society. And that one thing is called property. Because the question is, Thomas, who owns your body?
Mm-hmm. Is it the government? Is it the government?
Well, okay, let's say like this. I now want to control your body, and with all my willpower, I now try to raise your right hand. Well, no matter how much I want to do this, it's just impossible for me to do it. So clearly, I do not own your body. I do not control your body. But if you say out of your own willpower, hey, no, I want to move my right hand right now, what's going to happen? Well, your right hand is going to move up. So this is evidence. This is tamper-proof evidence that you own your own body, because you are the only one, your consciousness, this thing called Thomas, you are the only one that can control your physical body.
True.
And this means that only you.
Although things could get worse, I did read, what's his name? Sam Harris. I read Sam Harris's new book on free will. It's pretty tough. We might not even have free will. I hate to bum you guys out with Sam Harris, but what Sam says is that he monitored the human brain, and basically, like Max was saying, if I decide that I want to move my right arm, right, I think that I'm deciding that, right? I think somewhere up in my brain, I'm making a decision to go ahead and move my right arm. But what Sam says is that a second before my brain thinks that it's making that decision, there's another electrical impulse in the brain. So it seems like we might not have any free will. It's getting pretty exciting out there. But John, thanks so much, Max, for the call. We seem to have lost Max. Maybe we can get Max back on in a second. This is fun. See, you talk about MaxCoin and Max shows up. So let's see what happens here. Hello, Max from Germany again. How's it going?
Well, I think those Keynesian economists try to cut off that message and try to stop me from spreading the word about liberty and freedom.
They're wily that way. They're wily.
Well, okay, and so now that we've cleared up that you, Thomas, are the sole owner, you are the king, the only owner of your body, and only you can control it. Well, okay, what happens if you are like outside in the forest and you find a apple tree that nobody owns? It's just there. Let's just hypothetically think that.
All right.
And now you actually engage in labor and you go towards that tree and you pick an apple. Well, who owns that apple now?
I think we lost Max's connection again. No? Oh, you're still there. Oh, so I don't know who owns that apple. You pulled it off the tree. You're the one providing the work. But then again, does someone else own the field?
Exactly. That's the thing. You just hit the nail on there again. Okay, so let's assume that the natural resource that we are right now, the piece of land, is nobody owns it, okay? Nobody is doing anything with it. If you are the first person to find that piece of land, and if you are the first person to actually use that land in productive activity, that means if you mingle your physical labor, your time and effort with that good, for example, the apple, and now you produce another good. For example, you take that apple and you make apple juice out of that. Now, if you mingled your human labor with the natural resource of the apple and you made apple juice, and this is what we call homesteading. So you go to an unowned piece of land, you are the first one to find it, and if you are the first one to be productive with it, then it's your rightful property.
Well, that sounds good. If only we had more property, right?
That's the thing. We live in a scarce world. There are things that are called scarce goods, and it basically means only one person can control it, and only one person can have it. For example, let's stick with the example of the apple. If you go to the tree and you pick the apple, well, now you have it, and I do not have it. But if you give the apple to me, now you do no longer have the apple, but I have the apple. And only one owner exists at all times. This is the definition of a scarce good. And because we live in a world full of scarce goods, we have to find a way to manage those goods so that we don't, are in war all the time fighting over who owns what.
We do. We have to find a way to manage those scarce goods. I like the way you said that, Max, because it doesn't have any economic jargon in it. And I was talking yesterday about how everyone should learn economics and everyone should learn about the financial markets. And the first key to doing that is to just accept that you don't know what the jargon is and accept that jargon is there to confuse you. And if you see jargon as a mountain that you have to climb over, I think that you'll have the strength to climb over it. But if you just look at it and you say, my God, it's all jargon, and you run away, then they win. Then they were successful in using jargon, which is really just fancy, specific language. They talk about it so much that they need a shortcut. They're not going to say relative strength index all the time. They're going to say RSI, right? These kind of things can be a barrier from the outside, but once you get to the inside, it's a shortcut so you can talk faster. So
you are 100% correct. But I would like to add that this is not the state of all economics. This is only the state of Keynesian economics, most and foremost, because they are the court intellectuals that try to suppress you and try to give as much power as possible to the government. And they do this by keeping you ignorant, by withholding information from you, and by making that information as difficult to access as possible. And I would like to read here a quote by my biggest mentor, and I cannot recommend you enough to read anything and everything that Murray Newton Rothbard put out. He is, in my opinion, the best economist that has ever lived. He is a tremendous, tremendous human being, or he unfortunately passed away. And he is an incredibly powerful freedom fighter. And I owe so much to that man. And just to read that quote that he said about economics, okay? So I'll now quote Murray Rothbard. "It is no crime to be ignorant of economics, which is, after all, a specialized discipline, and one that most people consider to be a dismal science. But it is totally irresponsible to have a loud and vociferous opinion on economic subjects while remaining in the state of ignorance."
So what does that mean?
Well, basically, economics is just like Bitcoin. It's a niche subject, and you can live a happy and a fulfilling life without ever picking up an economics book. But as soon as you start to meddle with the economy, and as soon as you start to force people using your economic model, you better know how economics works. And if you do not, and then you have a loud opinion, and you force other people to do that which you say, then this is just pure evil. Because economics can be a beautiful tool to bring prosperity, and it can be the most horrific weapon of mass destruction that we have ever built.
It really can. It's a lot like I used to watch this video called Epic 2014. You should go check it out. It was released far before 2014. And they used to describe the internet, and they said that on one hand, the internet could bring you all of the world's information, perfectly cataloged, targeted directly to you. It could be the greatest educational resource in the world. And on the other hand, the internet could be a gossip machine and bring you nothing but garbage and bring you more and more garbage and distract you forever. And I really feel this way about the internet, that it can be good and it can be bad. And the same thing about economics. It can be a good thing. It can bring us all of the Sony Walkmans that we want. It can be a bad thing. It can bring us all of the Tomahawk missiles that we don't want. It's really up to us, and we have to take more action in this economy and say what we want. I think a lot of us aren't saying what we want, and that just leaves the default. And the default is more Tomahawk missiles. So
you are absolutely right in everything that you just said. And you talked briefly about human action and how important action is. And I 100% agree with you. And actually, Austrian economists in general 100% agree with you. The teacher of Murray Rothbard was called Ludwig von Mises. And he might be even better than Rothbard, but they're both damn good. And he wrote his economic treatise called Human Action. And this book explains everything in economics. If there is only one book that you would read in economics, read this one and you've understood it. It's really difficult, and I do not suggest this as your first economics book, but it is damn good. Murray Rothbard wrote a predecessor, or no, the predecessor is something that comes before. He wrote a book after Human Action called Man, Economy, and State. And this is more of an introduction book, but it still covers everything. This book, if you only read one book, read Man, Economy, and State by Murray Rothbard.
Well, very cool, Max. And I'd like to chat with you more about economics, but it looks like we've got some MaxCoin discussion coming up. Ironically enough, your name is also Max.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to what my namesake coin is all about, and what the guy that is calling has to say about it.
Very cool. So, Johnny, if you want to go ahead and call now, I want to give John. Thanks so much, Max. Give us a call back anytime. And we're going to try to get Max on the show as like a regular thing and try to get that knowledge from Max. I think it was also very cool that Max is into economics. We didn't know that about Max, so we're learning new things. But Johnny, if you want to go ahead and give us a call right now, I promised Johnny that I would let him talk about MaxCoin. Hello, caller. You're live on the World Crypto Network. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, thanks for having me on. I'm Johnny. I'm calling in behalf of MaxCoin.
All right. Thanks so much, Johnny. And then FYI, I just thought you could do maybe a little 2-minute introduction to MaxCoin. Tell us your opinion on it, why it's good. And then I think that Stacy Herbert is waiting in the chat, and we'll have Stacy Herbert right on after you. So it's a little MaxCoin segment here. So.
Yeah, no problem. Well, basically, MaxCoin, it's about 4 years old, founded back in 2014, thanks to aired live on TV with Max Kaiser. Really, he's really an influential person in this space. Obviously, everyone who knows Bitcoin is really probably the first person to speak about it was Max Kaiser back in 2011, 2013, around that kind of time. But MaxCoin, it's on a league of its own, to be honest with you. It's the only live cryptocurrency featuring KSAC SHA-3 encryption. It comes with Schnorr signatures with every transaction, block times with less than 1 minute, halving every 4 years. So it's a lot of features the same as Bitcoin. So it's a derivative of Bitcoin, but MaxCoin basically took the foundation of Bitcoin and improved on it. For example, you're talking, for an example, 10-minute confirmation times for a Bitcoin transaction, whereas a MaxCoin transaction will appear in your wallet within seconds and a confirmation within 2 to 3 minutes before it's spendable again. Every block, as I said, within less than a minute, so the difficulty is constantly retargeted with it's not like like a Bitcoin kind of standard where it's a 1 week difficulty with this number and then it changes by whatever variables. It's constantly alive, it's constantly updated, it's an open source organic growth project. It's been spear run by multiple different people behind it. At the moment now, it's really with a guy called David Sereno. He's the kind of the lead project developer behind it, as well with Max Kaiser, Stacy Herbert, Oliver Morris. There's some really talented, amazing people behind it.
All right, Oliver. Woo!
But I mean, yeah, a few of those people were obviously at MoneyConf a few weeks ago down in Dublin, and they had a chance to speak with a few people from like Ripple or from a few other organizations. And again, MaxCoin, it's in a way, it's pure in a way more than Bitcoin. I mean, the whole consensus around Bitcoin after 2011, 2012, things started to get not centralized per se. Voices were drowned out in a lot of ways. Like a lot of big holders or a lot of big miner power were isolate themselves from it. I mean, that's why obviously Bitcoin Cash became a thing, because of all this conflict within the group itself. Where obviously I am slightly biased for my own opinion, but I would think MaxCoin is uniquely poised in a position to not be affected from any of that. The majority of cryptocurrencies, for example, they're not pegged or valued for their own merit. They're all kind of pegged against the value of a Bitcoin, which is government created SHA-2 encryption, which is kind of, I think, the principal reason why MaxCoin adopted SHA-3. There was no live projects using SHA-3. That's the spirit of open source, the spirit of community. I mean, we have a Telegram group. There's about 2,500 people in the group. Anyone, if you're a developer, if you're an artist, if you're an influencer, any single person, you're welcome to join the group. You're able to contribute ideas. What if MaxCoin did this? What if there was a wallet that allowed this? For example, there's a few weeks ago, a community member developed the first standalone solar miner. So this is like the List initiative that a couple of community members are developing. We're trying to develop a self-sustainable blockchain, literally with a whole standalone unit where it's just an FPGA miner. I don't want to have to talk too technical here because I don't even understand it all myself. But just a small dedicated miner with a solar panel, and I mean that mines itself 24 hours with a battery which recharges.
Let me ask you some questions.
MaxCoin is more for the innovation and for the ideas in the future. I mean, I'm sure if anything, like Schnorr signatures, for example, there's a debate with Bitcoin whether or not they should implement them. Where if anything, you could just look at MaxCoin and see the advantage of Schnorr signatures because it's been there from the start.
All right. So do you see MaxCoin more as a technology platform, like a place to try out things that could later be added to Bitcoin? Or do you see MaxCoin as a potential replacement or challenger to Bitcoin?
I actually prefer a third option. In my opinion, in the next few years, I mean, for my history, I've been a chartographer for various stocks and indices and commodities. And watching the behavior and the development of Bitcoin, I honestly think Bitcoin will kind of be, it's it's pegged to be in a certain way towards a global currency in the way of interchangeability, bridging the gap between fiat and crypto. So I think MaxCoin is more liable and more likely to be used as merchant payment, just due to the fact of its instantaneous arrival, its security, its open source, its SHA-3 encryption. Whereas Bitcoin, in a sense, will always ultimately remain as the go-to. You know, if anything, they'll dance and tango together with a few cryptocurrencies, with MaxCoin, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, coins like that, kind of at the top tier, bridging the gap in towards the fiat world.
Okay, so you think MaxCoin could be good for merchants and for payments? W. Roberts has a basic question from the chat. He says, can you get a MaxCoin wallet? Where can you get MaxCoin tokens? Or does it work this way?
Yeah, MaxCoin, again, as I said, it's derived off the original the Bitcoin technology. So it was a soft fork off the GitHub project. It's a mineable coin. There's multiple pools and multiple places where you can actually mine it. There's about 3 or 4 exchanges that are currently trading MaxCoin. I'm not really sure of the price at the moment. I don't check, but I don't think that it's healthy to check the price of any cryptocurrency every day. It's just a distraction. But I mean, it's available on multiple places. It's anyone can just plug and go with if you have a machine that's powerful enough to mine a SHA-3 KSAC. I mean, I would say it's harder to mine than a Bitcoin would mine if you ignore the amount of people that are on the actual network now. But just because of the tech behind SHA-3, it's much more. How would you describe that? It's much more. It's a more solid proof of work formula behind it. And
so just for the non-technical people, MaxCoin uses SHA-3, Bitcoin uses SHA-2. These are encryption algorithms. Presumably SHA-3 is harder to crack. Is there anything more that we should know, just basic technical things
yeah,
about
actually,
those?
that's originally MaxCoin launched with SHA-3 just for the basic fact that SHA-3 is quantum proof. For that sole reason, we try to develop a project to look towards the future. Bitcoin, even with its massive adoption, it still has a lot of flaws. It has a scalability problem. It has a potential security breach problem coming into the next 20, 30 years with the rise of quantum computing. That's why we wanted to develop a cryptocurrency which is instantaneous confirmations within minutes. So it's impossible for a double spend. We're protected against any private key leaks. Like, for example, with Bitcoin, I actually heard this on your show a few days ago. It's if you use the same deposit or receiving key multiple times, that exposes you for a quantum hack for your private key to be exposed. But with MaxCoin, with Schnorr signatures and KSAC, that's just impossible. We're trying to educate as many people as possible behind the actual technology behind cryptocurrencies, and at the same time with our Discord groups and Telegram groups and web chats, we're just trying to bring as many people on board, to bring as many different opinions and feedbacks as possible to try and really make this the pinnacle of open source community project.
All right. Well, it sounds good. Sounds very reasonable so far. And I like the way that you guys just use the name MaxCoin. You didn't call it Bitcoin Max or Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum Max or anything like that.
Bitcoin Max, it probably would be worth a few $100s by now, but we're not in.
There we go. Hindsight, man. Hindsight. We just didn't know back then.
To actually develop something from the ground. You can only develop a revolution from the ground up. You can't have a bottom down formula. You know, this is where MaxCoin came in. The reason with MaxCoin, the name is obviously it's named in honor and after Max Kaiser, mainly just due to the fact that he was the first person of a television personality to actually educate and inform the general population of what is a Bitcoin and what is a cryptocurrency, which is why back in 2014, it was just a bunch of guys in a university decided to create the next new encryption, the next new cryptocurrency, and they just thought the best person to name it after in honor of was Max Kaiser.
Well, that's very cool. And Max was very early to Bitcoin, talking about it on his show. He has that great story that I wish I had, where he could say, "Oh, I told you to buy it at $1, or I told you to buy it at $10." And then there are people that did, and they're very happy now, and they're very happy with Max. And I hope someday that people that watched Mad Bitcoins will buy Bitcoin and then be very happy with me. And we just need Bitcoin to go up a lot more. But, you know, I'm holding on for that. And we all get in it at different times. and we do the best we can.
Yeah, that's the main reason as well that he's behind the project. He's not so much like an insider. There is no ICO, there is no centralization, there is no project leaders per se. It's community members who volunteer their time. If they've got any developer experience, if they've got any artistic flair, if they're good at journalism or writing, they just contribute what they can. And Max Kaiser sees MaxCoin as the gateway for your average Joe into a cryptocurrency, because the whole team is very, I say team in the sense of it is just community members who see the potential of this project. I mean, and they take their time to educate, they take their time to assist with mining and to set up wallets. I mean, we've literally just finished developing an iOS wallet, standalone, completely unique, the first mobile wallet ever developed for SHA-3 with Snore signatures. We're currently working on the Android wallet that should be released a few weeks after. We have desktop wallets on every operating system that's available. It's a community group of educating crypto to show of what this could be.
All right, sounds very cool. And we're going to try to get Stacy on here next. I do have one more question for you. It's kind of a hard one, so it's okay if you don't have an answer. But earlier in the show, I talked about potential good events for Bitcoin, the Bitcoin ETF, China accepting Bitcoin, Amazon or eBay, a large retailer accepting Bitcoin. Those are potential good things for Bitcoin. Just like on the other side, I said there's potential bad things for Bitcoin. Like if they had said that Ethereum was a security, that wouldn't have hurt Bitcoin, but that would have hurt the whole market. So looking out into the future, are there any good events that you expect might happen for MaxCoin? And on the same side, are there any bad events that you expect might happen?
You want I'll give you an opinion from MaxCoin and a Bitcoin. I actually sold all of my Bitcoins. Many people would actually think this controversial, but
very dangerous, very dangerous. You could always go 90-10.
Indeed, but again, I have a few years of chartography behind me. And once I heard on the news that obviously there was a Bitcoin futures platform launching, for me, that just screams corruption. So I left. I converted most of my Bitcoin into actual fiat back in December.
Oh, wow. That's a good sell now.
The downtrend that would be coming. In the start of the end of March, end of April is whenever I started then investing in a few max coins, because I realized from the risk to reward ratio and from where this project can go, for me, it's a no-brainer. But for regards for Bitcoin, I'll give you my own personal opinion. No one has to listen to this. I mean, I speak constantly every day on the Telegram group. I post all my chart analysis, all my fundamentals, and the reason behind my logic. But for me personally, it's like I think we're going to be into a semi-bear market until the end of 2020 for Bitcoin, or middle 2020, and Bitcoin should touch $3,000. With MaxCoin, short term, again, with the launch of the iOS wallet, the development of the Android wallet, we're rebasing the desktop wallets. We've got more and more merchants coming on board every week. We're averaging at least 1 or 2 merchants a month now, which is, I mean, for a small cap cryptocurrency, it's getting there. It's not a Bitcoin exposure, but I mean, MaxCoin has no ICO, it's no advertising, there's no airdrops, there's no bounties, there's no centralized people trying to line their pockets per se. So my opinion for MaxCoin is long term, I would say I would value it around $400, quite similar to Ethereum, just due to its smart contracts and its usability. And with Bitcoin short term, I would imagine down to about 3K, but just due to the interchangeability of Bitcoin and the user demand, I honestly do think a floor of Bitcoin at 3K, but higher than that, obviously, into the future.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Johnny, for your call. I'm glad to hear about MaxCoin. Just a lesson to everyone else in the chat. Everyone was saying Johnny was a bag holder or whatever, but he defended his position well. We spoke reasonably as people. I gave him a chance to talk, and I think it went really well. So thanks so much, Johnny, for your call.
Thanks for having me on and let me share my opinion. Great show. Thanks.
All right. And give us a call anytime. And I was told Stacy might be out there. She might want to talk more about MaxCoin, though I think Johnny did a really good job, gave us the basics. There's no ICO, there's no pre-mine. It has SHA-3, which is pretty cool. It's a better technology than SHA-2 that Bitcoin has, and it might be quantum resistant. So very cool when they develop quantum computers, that might happen. So we do have the phone lines open right now. You can give us a call on Skype at World Crypto Network. It says, do not call the Kaiser report. So if they want to call me, I'm totally available to talk to Stacy or Max. Just like with Johnny, I'll give you a chance to tell us about MaxCoin. give you the floor, give you a chance to speak. Personally, I'm still a fan of Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's the best. But I'm not totally against everything. I'm not going to just dump on things, especially if someone's going to call in and be reasonable about it. And that's what I like so much about Johnny's call, is that we gave him the floor. He told us about MaxCoin. People in the audience are saying whatever they want about MaxCoin now. And remember, you got to have a thick skin. You're out here on the internet. People are going to be critical of your project. But you know, we give them a chance. So, but yeah, if Stacy or Max are out there, big fans of their show, definitely make jokes about the time Max says that he birthed mad Bitcoins. So, but it's fun stuff. We also had some people in the chat. They're saying, Whoop 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 says he found out about the WCN on Kaiser Report. So very cool. And I remember not too long ago, Chris Ellis was on there, my buddy Chris, and he was talking about his project to build Bitcoin full nodes. And it was very cool. And they started talking about mad Bitcoins. And Chris said something like, "Oh, Tom's brilliant. If Tom likes you, he'll help you raise money." I was like, "Oh, Chris, don't say that. I help you raise money. Your projects are really good. I don't help a lot of other people raise money. Their projects aren't that good." But it was funny to see old Chris on the Max show talking about his full node projects and so forth. They say we should stream on D Live. I like Steemit and everything. I think it's cool. I think I've tried to stream on those platforms or put my videos on there, and yeah, I get like 10 or 20 cents. I know you guys all say you'll be there for me and you'll brigade it or whatever, but I haven't had a great post on Steemit since my first post. But I do like Steemit. I had a good time posting there, and I've been holding on to my Steam, selling it slowly as they give it to me, and I still have some left. So that's been kind of cool. So let's see. Johnny says people can check out more about MaxCoin in the Telegram chat. So very cool. And everybody's been cool to Johnny in the chat too, which I really like, because it's cool if you're a fan of an altcoin. You just have to understand people are fans of Bitcoin for their own reason, and they've been fans of Bitcoin for a long time. And they're probably not going to give that up just because you're a fan of an altcoin. But that's not to say that you can't go around promoting it, telling people about it, especially if you can back it up with facts and figures. And like Johnny did, he really had the information on MaxCoin. I don't think that we agreed that MaxCoin is going to beat Bitcoin or anything, but it's an interesting platform. So it's very cool. Cool. Bitstreamer's vote is worth $50. I think mine's worth like $1. Or for a while it was, which is pretty cool. But I have the Mad Bitcoins account on Steemit if you want to follow me. I've put a lot of posts on there. Not so much recently. Not to say I'm discouraged, but my posts used to get like $1 a piece, and now they get 10 cents a piece. So it's a little discouraging. But that's not to say that they didn't reward me very well for writing a introduce yourself to their community. I think I lived about 6 months on that blog post. So pretty great. And yeah, they're saying Steem has some questionable pre-mines, and Steem's got some confusing 3-coin situation going on, and Steem's got a lot of whales. But from a content creator perspective, as someone that's not taking responsibility for all that, if you just put up a blog post and you get some money, that's cool. You know, shrug your shoulders, whatever. If you're out there investing in Steemit, you got to make your own choices. It actually did go up in value. I hate to say that. Like all these altcoins, I remember when Steemit was below $1, and for a while there it was $3. Now I think it's around $1.50. I don't really know though. So it did go up, but yeah, if you want to buy Steemit, you get more votes. I didn't think that people would buy Steemit to get more votes. That's just kind of my opinion and belief on that. But maybe you bought some early and you got some cool votes. They're asking about Blockstack in the audience. I don't know that much about it, but I did have my friend on last week, Justin, and he's talking about a new project called Mistos. And Mistos is built on Blockstack, and it'll allow you to easily share a multi-signature wallet amongst people like a company. So you could vote people in and out of the multi-signature wallet pretty easily. So it looked really cool. And I'm talking to several of the Blockstack guys. I'm pretty bad about replying to my email, but I really hope to reply to my email today and to schedule some interviews with them so that we can talk more about Blockstack. I'm interested in both the general technology of Blockstack, which is kind of the first part of it is kind of a shared login. So instead of logging in with Facebook, where Facebook knows that you logged in everywhere, you'd use this Blockstack login and no one would know that you logged in. They kind of store your Bitcoin key or your login key or something like that. They store that in the Bitcoin blockchain. So it's there forever, and it costs a little bit of money to get it in there and so forth. And then after that, you can use that to log in. And then they're working on a whole series of applications that allow you to store your data encrypted where you want to store it. So if you want to store your data in the Amazon cloud or the Google cloud or the Microsoft cloud, or maybe your own personal cloud at home or on a server that you've hosted, and you want to use a service that's like Google Docs where you can share files really easily, but you don't want to use Google Docs because they read all your files, I think this Blockstack thing could be really cool. The program on top of that is called Graphene, I think, Graphite, something like that. And it looked really good. I tried it out briefly, and I hope to get that guy and the Blockstack guys on the show so we can talk to them and ask them questions and maybe have them demonstrate their software. So I want to say shout out and thanks to all the MaxCoin guys that joined us. We went from around 160 viewers to 200 viewers when we started talking about MaxCoin. It's not to say that we're going to talk about MaxCoin every day, but it's always nice to see the viewer count go up. If you're visiting here for the first time, be sure to subscribe down below. We do these shows every day. You can also hit that bell for the notifications and give us a like. Likes are free. Gervais in the chat says, how do I feel about Bitwage? I've met the guys from Bitwage. They seem like nice guys. Jonathan, the rest of the crew, I met them in Miami a few years ago. They donated a ticket to Mad Bitcoins for the Miami Bitcoin conference. So I thought that was super nice. I think Bitwage is a good way to take some of your money in Bitcoin. They have a service where basically when you get paid from your normal job, you can get paid to a checking, and you could also get paid to a savings account. So you could split up your money. And what they do on Bitwage is that your savings account just links to Bitcoin. So if you wanted to save $100 a month into Bitcoin, you can hook this up with your normal paycheck. Your normal business can do it. It's just like setting up a second account. So they pay some of your money to your second account or even all of it, and then you decide what percentage you want to store in Bitcoin. And then they store it for you. So I think it's a good way for people to buy Bitcoin with their salary and to do dollar cost averaging, which is what we talk about all the time now, because it's really safe and it's really boring. So no one's advertising dollar cost averaging because it's so dang boring. And it's not fun and exciting, and it's not dramatic. Like putting all your money in, that's exciting. Pulling all your money out, that's exciting. But putting in $10 a week or $100 a week, that's the smartest thing you can do, and it's not exciting at all. So we're going to keep talking about dollar cost averaging, but I think it's really good stuff. But yeah, Bitwage is a good way for that. I heard they're launching a token or something. I'm so tired of tokens. The guy asked me for my opinion on the token, and I didn't have the heart to say anything mean to him. People got to do what they got to do with these tokens. I know the SEC and the Ethereum decision now kind of opens up the field, and maybe you're saying, well, we got to have a token. We got to have a token. Yeah, what you going to do? But it looked like Max and maybe Stacey was going to call in, but they might have had to have other stuff to do, and I understand that. I just really felt we had to have Johnny on there because I told Johnny I would let him talk about MaxCoin, and I'm pretty fair about that. So it's a nice message to Max and them, but I'm certainly not going to call them because they say they don't want people to call them, even though in Soviet Russia, talk show calls you. That's not even a Russian Today reference. That's just a Yakov Smirnov joke. I just think he's funny. He's an old Russian, came to American comedian from the 1980s. All of his jokes were pretty much some version of like, oh, camera in Soviet Russia, camera spies on you. I don't know. I didn't do it justice there. But you get the idea. It's a formula. It's like the I'm not a redneck joke. You might be a redneck if you got 4 cars on your lawn that don't move and a house that's mobile. You might be a redneck if you've ever had to say, hon, get this engine out of the bathtub so I can take a bath. I don't know. I don't have the text with me right now. What's all this racism? I don't know. Well, it's jokes, right? It's humor. So Yakov Smirnov's a real person. He's a Russian person, and he can make fun of Russian people. Yeah, Robin Williams was in a Yakov Smirnov movie. Um, Coming to America, Coming to Russia, something like that. Man from Moscow, something like that. Robin Williams is fantastic. But yeah, these are jokes. The redneck things are jokes. Jokes are humorous stories that generally are designed to shock you. So part of it is that you'll be shocked and then you'll laugh. So there's a risk there. So whenever you tell a joke, there's always a risk. And that risk is getting worse and worse in this world. Professional comedians who do nothing but tell jokes are being taken down for their statements. They make statements now. And I can tell you, Jerry Seinfeld's never made a statement. He's made a series of jokes. Everything the man says is designed to make you laugh. And if he fails, he took a risk and he failed. So, yeah, we need more freedom for joke tellers, end to political correctness. Although I don't want to end respect. See, I like respect, like respecting other people, even if they're strange or different than you. Strange isn't the right word, but yeah, respect is good. But respect has gone too far, so we can't even have jokes. And what I think you have to be able to do is to compartmentalize. That if you want to, talk about jokes and you want to have a funny period, that's one thing. If you want to have a serious period and talk about important topics, that's another thing. We have to be able to separate those so we can still have jokes. And I fear that we're starting to lose the jokes. So they say the left doesn't do humor, but I'm from the left and I think everything's funny. But then again, I'm so far left that I might be far right. Remember, the political thing is a circle and that it groups around, and that the far left probably have more in common with the far right than the middle does with each other. So, but we're probably running out of time today. I feel like I've been talking for a long time. It's very cool you guys are sticking with me. The 204 viewers give me the thumbs up and the share, subscribing, and helping spread the word about this show. And of course, calling in. I remember this show is all about the call-ins. We almost had a call from Max and Stacy, but maybe not today. Maybe another time. It's cool that they're watching it. They're interested. So I always think that's cool. It's always cool when Max mentions me or Tone or Chris or anybody on the shows. I really appreciate it. And if I had a bigger platform, I would mention smaller people. And even though I have a small platform, I still mention it, use it to mention other people because I just want to promote things that I think are good. So when I see something good, I'm like, promote that thing. But we're probably going to close down the chat lines for now. I will keep an eye on it. If Max and Stacy do call, I will bring them on, even though I'm in the middle of the reading or whatever. But we're just going to do a quick reading. Maybe we'll do a recap here. Remember, you can donate to this show with Bitcoin using the QR code on your screen. I'm slacking off about getting you donation addresses for other coins because I know you're fans of other coins, and I need to respect that. So I will try to get you some QR code addresses for a bunch of other coins soon so we can do other coin donations for fun. I'll bet they're saying in the chat now that I should take MaxCoin too. So I'll take a look. Maybe if I can download a wallet, I'll download a wallet. And then on the next show, I'll announce that I'm taking MaxCoin. And people can say it's terrible. I don't know. You always worry so much. I mean, we're talking politically correctness and all this stuff. As a content creator or whatever, you're always like, I don't want to piss off the audience. What if taking MaxCoins piss off the audience or whatever? But I don't know. We've got to figure all this out. We've got to work together. It's excellent to raise money for independent content creators who talk about what they want to talk about. I think that's important. Thanks so much to our Bitcoin donors. We had a donation today of 0.0039992. Very cool. And shout out to our new Patreon. Somebody subscribed with $100 a month. That's very cool. You don't have to do that. You could subscribe with like $2 a month. It's fine. $5, $10. Give whatever you want. We also have a Patreon for Mad Bitcoins if you want to support me directly. Eventually, I might try to branch these Patreons off if by chance they were ever making too much money. God forbid. And the World Crypto Network one would probably be more on getting us a studio and trying to expand the network and maybe doing some business type things. And then this one would be more about supporting me. But right now, they're pretty much the same. So support either one, and thanks so much for your support. I said I was going to do a trip back in time. Let me see. Might give that a shot. Let's see what we can do here. So we're going to have to see if I can get the screen share working. Let's see. Oh, this is some complicated stuff. Here we go. I'm gonna need a few more windows. If only I could have some more windows and some more screens. So, but here it is. I think I've got it now, so you guys can see the video. Hopefully, we're doing a screen share from my other computer, and we had a suggestion to go back in time and to watch a little bit of the Bitcoin group #1. Which the chatter commenter said was Mad Bitcoins, Andreas Antonopoulos, and 2 other guys. And those 2 other guys were Davi Barker and Derek J. Freeman from Peace News Now. And I think you guys can hear this, so I'm going to play just a little bit of the Bitcoin group #1.
The Bitcoin group, the American original. For over the last 10 seconds, the sharpest Satoshis, the best Bitcoins, the hardest cryptocurrency talk. Issue 1, Walmart and Bitcoin. If your Bitcoin is so great, why can't it be accepted in the real world? Is Bitcoin ready for the rigors of checkout? Customers use their credit cards and enjoy near instantaneous transactions. Why would they wait for Bitcoin when they can soon push their carts full of RFID chips across a scanner, a process that will transform checkout? What is the future of this Bitcoin in brick and mortar retail? I ask you, Andreas Antonopoulos.
I don't think people will use Bitcoin to buy stuff at Walmart, not for a very long time. It's not ready. The infrastructure isn't there. The point of sale systems aren't there. The corporate structures aren't there. The legal systems aren't there. It's going to take a long time until you can pay for your groceries at Walmart with Bitcoin. And even if that time comes, it's probably going to be more like a loyalty card, so you sign up for it in advance, rather than a instantaneous cash-like transaction, which is ad hoc. So, nah, it's going to be a while.
Derek J.
I disagree strongly with Andreas. I think it's just around the corner. In 9 months, there will be a release of a new app for Google Glass called Glass Pay, which allows users, among other things, to go shopping in a regular retail store and scan the UPCs of their items with their eyes or their phone, and pay with Bitcoin without even waiting in a line. So their advantages are obvious. People prefer to use the self-checkout. This removes just one more layer of the payment process. So it's only a matter of time, and I think that time is quick.
Davi Barker.
I'm middle of the road here. I think Andreas is right. I think technologically we're not there. I think Derek is right. I think the innovations are right around the corner. It's just a matter of demand. If it becomes something that there is a strong demand for, someone will design the software and the hardware, and it'll happen. And right now there isn't. Right now it seems like Bitcoin mostly lives online, and that's okay.
Andreas, you seem to
See, and this was the first episode. So I used to, I was doing a full-on John McLaughlin impression there. I was like kind of yelling like McLaughlin. And what I also like is that I was super critical of Bitcoin. Did you catch that? As the host, Mad Bitcoins or Mad McLaughlin or whatever you want to say, I was playing the character of questioning Bitcoin, and I was threatening and challenging them. And you could see they're cracking up the whole time. I really took them off their game. They weren't ready for me to do the full McLaughlin impression. I act normal beforehand, and then I'm like, raw, issue 1, raw. So it was pretty fun. And you can check that out on the old Bitcoin group channel from back in the day. We had the Bitcoin group. So I'm going to try to do another screen share here, get back on this, and play another clip for you from the old days. This was also recommended from Twitter. They were just talking about different clips, and this guy said, you got to see the one called Bitcoin Indian Food Night. It's really good. 5 years ago, Mad Bitcoins. And also, just a reminder, in case you're watching that Bitcoin group segment, you're looks saying, like I missed something.
Who
Who are those young, good-looking people? That was over 4 years ago. So we've been doing the Bitcoin group in the World Crypto Network for the past 4 years. We've been doing Mad Bitcoins for the past 5 years. So we've been in this a long time. And like I always say, if you give us a donation, we will make more videos. That's what we do. So if you're a billionaire out there and you want to give us $1 million or whatever, you can bet we're going to use it to make more videos. We might rent a studio. We might pay people money to try to be a real company, get some more advertising or whatever. But just in general, we're here to make videos to talk about Bitcoins. So this one, just a refresher in case you're not prepared. There's a movie called Animal House with James, bloody hell, with Belushi in it. You know which one, not Jim. Belushi's first name. I don't know. That's going to drive me crazy. But it's got Belushi and it's got the rest of the crew. And it's a really great movie about colleges. And there's a big scene at the end where he says, you know, what is it over? Or was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? And it's just this great speech that he gives. And I gave my own version of it. And if you check John Belushi, thank you guys. Yes, John. I know I was close. And I know John Belushi. I read about him and stuff. But yeah, John Belushi. And so good. And yeah, this is a parody. I've done a bunch of parodies. You should check them out on the Mad Bitcoins channel. I've got a whole playlist. I think I've got 30 of them now of Bitcoin movie speeches and parodies. I'm not sure. It's only 3 minutes. I might play the whole thing. There's a lot of yelling. And then at the end, I say we should go to Indian food. So let's give this a try, a little Mad Bitcoins. This was from four or 5 years ago. So I missed something. You did. China just banned Bitcoin deposits again. Bitcoin prices just declined another 10% and they're under 400 now. Under $400 for a currency you can send anywhere in the world for free? That makes sense. Hey! What's all this lying around stuff? Why are y'all still lying around here for? Well, what the hell else are we supposed to do, you moron? The price is fucked. There's nothing to fight for anymore. Let it go. War's over, man. China dropped the big one. Over? Did you say over? Nothing is over until we decide it is. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Hell no! The Germans? Forget it. He's rolling. And it ain't over now! 'Cause when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Now who's with me? Let's go. Ah! What the fuck happened to the Bitcoin I used to know? Where's the spirit? Where's the guts, huh? This could be the greatest night of our lives, but you're gonna let it be the worst. Oh, we're afraid to go with you, Mad Bitcoins. We might get in trouble. Well, just kiss my ass from now on. Not me. I'm not going to take this. Warren Buffett, he's a dead man. China, dead. The price, dead. Mad Bitcoins is right. Psychotic, but absolutely right. We got to take these bastards. Now, we could do it with conventional weapons, but that could take years and cost millions of Bitcoins. No, I think we have to go all out. I think that this situation absolutely requires a really futile and stupid gesture be done on somebody's part. And we're just the guys to do it. Let's pay in Bitcoin for Indian food this Saturday night and post pictures of it on Twitter. Even if your local restaurant doesn't take it, ask them. Maybe a friend at the table will take your Bitcoin and pay in cash for you. Take pictures of you eating the food, even if you just made it for yourself at home. This Saturday, Bitcoin eats Indian food. Next Saturday, who knows? Maybe we'll get burritos. I agree. Let's go get them. Let's do it. Let's do it. Ah! Go, 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 go. Bitcoin Indian food this Saturday. Be there or be square. Pretty fun stuff. Sorry about all the foul language. When I parody something, I feel it's important to get the words intact. So I'm willing to curse even though I know you probably don't like the cursing. And they were talking about my shirt in the chat. My shirt's an official Sacramento Kings Bitcoin shirt. A few weeks before that Indian food video, I went to the Sacramento Kings game. Since you guys are interested, we'll watch just a little bit of this. I hadn't planned to play 3 clips. After this, we'll do just a little bit of the reading from my novel, and then we'll be out for today. Bitcoin, and welcome to Mad Bitcoins, live from Sleep Train Arena, home of the Sacramento Kings. We're about to watch the Sacramento Kings play the Dallas Mavericks, and we paid for our tickets in Bitcoin. All right. So yeah, you'd think I would be embarrassed going out wearing the hat and the costume. No one cared at all at the basketball game. Trying to hand out Bitcoin flyers right there. Look at that. Not interested. Not interested. That's Bitcoin at $400. Those people are saying no to.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet
wave? Me getting my picture with Slamson, the mascot of the Kings. I'm sure you can find that picture on Twitter somewhere. There's the old Kings arena.
He told us that we would. I know. He was a little raunchy. You're kidding. No, he was totally feeling it.
There we are with Connie from BitGive. Very cool. Hi, this is Mad Bitcoins. We're live at the Kings game with Connie Galippi from BitPay.
Go Kings!
They just lost to the Mavericks, and they're quickly kicking us out of everywhere. But behind us, you can see the Kings store where allegedly they take Bitcoin. Let's find out if they do. And also, you can scan Connie's t-shirt. Check this out. Amazing powers of Bitcoin. You could donate right through this t-shirt to BitGive. Connie, what's going on with BitGive? You have a water program going on?
Right, yes. Right now we're doing a campaign for the Water Project, and they bring clean, safe water to communities in sub-Saharan Africa. So we have a $10,000 BTC equivalent goal, which would actually fund an entire community water project.
And how can people donate to this water project?
If you go to our website, which is bitgivefoundation.org, it's the very first thing you'll see is this whole story about the water project, and then you can follow the links to the campaign website.
And they can donate right there in Bitcoin.
Yes, in Bitcoin. You can donate directly in Bitcoin to the water project, and you can actually see all the transactions that have gone through to that campaign.
Very exciting. So check out bitgive.org. Now we're going to go check out the King store. So funny. Bitcoin, what's that? That's what you get when you want to pay with it. Look, I use the old blockchain.info wallet. God, I don't want to go back and pause it. You'll find out how much I paid for this Bitcoin King's Magnet or whatever I'm about to get. $10 in Bitcoin years ago. Oh boy, it's a lot of money.
No change needed.
No change. Yeah, how cool is that?
Successful Bitcoin purchase in the King's Team store.
There's Ben. There's my buddy Ben.
All right.
Cool. This is Mad Bitcoins reporting live from the Kings game, where they just lost to the Mavericks by only a few points. We bought our tickets in Bitcoin. We got parking passes in Bitcoin. We got a t-shirt in Bitcoin. And I just bought a Kings Magnet from the team store, and I paid entirely in Bitcoin. Thank you, Sacramento Kings. Thank you, Sacramento Dogecoin. Woo! So those guys were randomly walking by, and they yelled out Dogecoin. How cool is that? And that's 4 years ago. This guy knew about Dogecoin. Oh, have a good one, man. Even at the Kings game, there's a fan of Dogecoin. Dogecoin for the win. Go Kings. I don't think it was half a Bitcoin, but it's definitely like in the 0.2, 0.3 range. There it is. That's fun. Me and the 6-man thing. I hope they move that to the new stadium. I don't think they did. But there it is. The old days at the thing. Oh, they're saying, yeah, the NASCAR Doge. That's a good one. You can check that out. I did a Mad Bitcoins video where I interviewed the Doge car. That was pretty cool. But I've had lots of break time now, which is great. This guy says he bought a season of Game of Thrones for 0.35 Bitcoin, which was about $40 at the time. Yeah, there's a lot of painful buys in the past. A friend of mine, I won't say his name, and I never will, but he told me he spent at least 1,000 Bitcoins streaming pornography. And it wasn't like he didn't have money or they didn't take credit cards. It was just that you could pay with Bitcoin, and it was so neat. And he said, I'll pay in Bitcoin. It'll be fun, right? And it was fun, except now. Now he's like, damn, I could have, fed my family for generations on the money that I spent on that. But again, you can't have that feeling. You were crazy. My friend was crazy early to Bitcoin. The guy in the chat was relatively early to Bitcoin. And we were so excited to use it. And just any time that we could use it. Even recently, I bought drinks last year in Prague. I spent at least $65 in Bitcoin. And then after that, Bitcoin tripled. So those are very expensive drinks. But that happens all the time in Bitcoin. And we like to say everyone should just rebuy or whatever. You should just spend 100, buy 100 back. Nobody does that. Nobody's smart enough. Some people are pretty smart. CoinDesk, some other programs had some ways where you could automatically have it buy back. I think that would be cool. That would help people spend it because it can be hard to spend it when you know that it's going to go crazy up. But here's just a little bit of my novel. Like I said in the recap earlier, Satoshi Nakamoto, who may or may not be a pink space alien, has crashed his Ethereum-shaped spaceship into John Front's house. John Front and his friend Mara are trying to figure out if Satoshi's really Satoshi. They had him prove it, but Mara still doesn't believe it, and now she's having him code. Mara works for a company called Chain River, and they're working on side chains and other exciting Bitcoin developments. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is on the prowl. He's investigating Bitcoin, and he's trying to crack down on that pink space alien. This is just a fun little story that I wrote during National Novel Writing Month in November of 2016. It's a month where you just try to write as hard as you can every day, and you try to get to 50,000 words by the end of the month, which I did. So I won, and now I've edited it up a little bit, and I think it's a fun story, and I'm going to try to sell it as a Kindle book and an audio book and a paperback. But for now, I'm just doing short readings of it, and if you want to go back to the previous videos, you can watch some of the previous readings. But I did try to give you a little recap there, so I think you got a shot at it. So here we go. We'd been playing for quite a while when the elevator dinged, and Mara walked into the Chain River offices. Derek had evened up the score by then and even taken the lead. I was eager for a distraction from the game. I even paused it. "Hey, Mara, what took you so long?" "Traffic," she said in her classic deadpan voice. I smiled and paused a beat. She smiled too. "No, but really, it was a mess out there. And besides, I had to make a few stops." She tossed a pre-rolled joint in a plastic tube my way. "Presents." "Presents." I responded in the sing-song voice of Kyle from the original South Park viral video. I reached into my pocket for a lighter, and there happened to be one there. I had lit it before Derek had time to say, "Hey, you can't smoke that in here." "Why not?" Mara said. "Have you seen the code? We're celebrating. This is it." Derek looked at her dumbfounded. "What are you talking about?" "Satoshi's code," she said, turning to him. "Actually, may I? Satoshi and I's code." Satoshi nodded appropriately, but kept staring at his terminal windows. "We solved it." Mara was unpacking one of the grocery bags she'd brought with her in the kitchen. Champagne, a bag of chips, cups. She'd thought ahead. I grabbed the chips when I passed her the joint. Mara paused, stared at Derek, and took a huge hit. Then she handed him the joint. "We solved it," she repeated. "We really solved it. Not just the algorithm, but the whole thing. We have sidechains. They're ready to test." Derek took his own huge hit and handed me the joint. I tried to wipe off the end as good as I could and took a hit anyway. I tried to pass it to Satoshi, but he declined, still intent on his windows, even as Derek sat there dumbfounded. I handed him the rest of the joint. "Keep it. You need it. He clearly did, using a nearby empty ginger beer bottle to ash in. What do you mean you solved it? Derek said. Satoshi, how's the code? She said. We're ready. Mara pulled out her own laptop and set it on the counter next to the champagne. She had started logging into the Chain River network and pulled up a direct connection to Satoshi's Chromebook. Derek, I'm proud to present to you, and now this is the only test server right now, so this is not available to the public, but for the first time, behold, side chains. Satoshi pushed a few keystrokes and uploaded their program to the Chain River server. Mara typed in her admin code and started the program. The sidechains demo was now running on the Chain River test server. Satoshi kept typing, but Mara was celebrating. She'd cracked the champagne, gotten the joint back from Derek, and was pouring little plastic cups for everyone. She distributed the cups, took a few more hits off the roach before slipping it into the ginger beer bottle, saying, "To Satoshi, congratulations on amazing new code from the original genius. Thank you so much for being you. Thank you, Satoshi." We toasted and drank. Satoshi toasted, but he put the glass down on the invisible table. I guess he didn't drink either. In case you're just joining us on the live feed, this is a view of the Chain River offices in the prestigious Kelly Building in downtown San Francisco. And as you can see, the lights are on. This is the latest update we have on the Satoshi situation, which is what many of us are calling the current standoff between the press and the alien. It is hour 7 of the situation, and as we always do on CNN, we now turn to our panelists. Anderson Cooper said this with his usual calm, slow, and overwhelmingly deadpan delivery, even at a time like this. Kellyanne Conway from the Trump campaign, and of course, CNN correspondent Donna Brazil, who's now representing the Clinton camp. Welcome to both of you. Welcome to the program. Thank you so much for having me, Anderson, Kellyanne said, her blue eyes glowing and her blonde hair perfectly feathered. She lived for this kind of moment. It's a pleasure to be here with you again, Anderson, Donna said, although as though she'd rather not be here, dealing with the weird pink alien space story. As you both know, the U.S. government is currently denying the incident, claiming that it is likely a hoax with both the pink space alien makeup and the fact that no proof has been provided linking this Satoshi with the one who actually wrote the Bitcoin code. Kellyanne, your candidate has taken the lead on this position, claiming that the United States is being invaded from space, much to the laughter and jeering of many critics who say once again that Trump is fear-mongering, trying to persuade undecided voters to vote out of fear, simply replacing space aliens with illegal ones. Do you stand by your candidate? Of course I do, Anderson. And I'm so glad to be here on this morning to speak about this issue, which could decide the survival of our civilization, Anderson. This isn't a movie, Anderson. The aliens are real, and only Trump can defeat them. You know it, I know it, and as the polls are starting to show, the American people know it. They're flocking to our side in droves while the opposition continues to ignore this apocalyptic threat. She's sitting there with her eyes closed. She's sitting there with her eyes closed and in denial, and we can't have people like that in the White House. We need to act now before it's too late. We need Trump. Only he can stop them. Can I just say something? Donna said. I hate to interrupt, but Kellyanne, have you lost your goddamn mind? Space aliens? I simply don't know what you clowns will come up with next. Now, I know I'm the surrogate of a candidate, and I came here to be both reasonable and make intelligent points, not to insult Kellyanne, her candidate, and their both obvious lack of intelligence. I mean, have you even seen the new Star Wars film? Do you have any idea the kinds of virtual effects people are capable of these days? It's a hoax. Get your head out of your beep and open up your eyes. It's a god beep hoax, and the aliens, the only aliens that are invading are in your own head, you maniac. Donna got up, unclipped her mic, and threw it down on the desk. Anderson looked shocked, but managed to maintain his deadpan. And we'll be right back. And that's it for another short reading of To Satoshi with Love, a little novel that I wrote a few years ago after National Novel Writing Month. Thanks so much for watching, giving us a thumbs up, subscribing down below, sending some Bitcoin, or signing up for the Patreon. We had a great time today. We talked about MaxCoin. We almost had Stacy Herbert on the show. We were very close. Next time. I don't know if we have to talk about MaxCoin every time to get them to appear, but whatever it takes, we'll work on it. But thanks so much to everybody who joined us, everybody who called in. We'll try to do another one of these shows tomorrow morning, maybe tonight if there's time. A little Bitcoin talk show after dark. It's tough to fit in the old schedule. But thanks so much for watching. And until next time, bye-bye.